May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be ever pleasing in your sight, O God, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. I went on an adventure on Friday. My husband got home from work, and as it was a payday, I went out to do some of the grocery shopping that needed to get done, because that's what we do on payday. Also in our household, we were down to 2 rolls of toilet paper. So we needed, it wasn't just a hoarding thing, we needed toilet paper. First place I stop is BJ's, because that's where we have a membership. We get some of our bigger items there. And I was thinking, they must have toilet paper. People don't run out of toilet paper. It's toilet paper. Lo and behold, there is no toilet paper in BJ's. But I picked up some other items, waited a half hour to check out, got gas, and then went to the liquor store. It's payday. Next to the liquor store is a Giant. And I thought, I'll run into Giant. Surely they will have toilet paper. As who runs out of toilet paper? I get in there. There is no toilet paper. None to be found. It's slowly coming to the realization in my head that we might only have 2 rolls of toilet paper to get through the next 2 weeks, and that's just not possible. So finally, I'm driving home, and I realize that I go past the Acme right on Roosevelt over here. So I'm like, I'll stop at the Acme, see if they have toilet paper. And as I'm pulling into the parking lot, I notice a man has a package of toilet paper in his bag, and I go, yes! Maybe, finally, there is toilet paper. I park the car, I speed walk into the store. I know exactly where I'm going. As I round the corner around, I see there is 1 6-pack of off-brand, 1-ply toilet paper sitting on the shelf. And I grab it and go, yes! It may not be the best, but it's something. And then I look over, and there's an old woman with her grocery cart, staring at the empty shelves that I had not seen. And I immediately start doing the mental gymnastics in my head of, am I this mean to take the last 6-pack of toilet paper from this nice, or I'm assuming nice, old lady? Am I that person? Can I do that? I'm not in my collar, so no one's going to know if I'm a passenger. What do I do here? Luckily, blessedly, before I could make a decision, she says, sir, can you help me reach the toilet paper up on the top shelf? And up on the top shelf, which you really couldn't see, there's about 20 more packages of different brands of toilet paper still there. And I could get a better brand, too. But I found toilet paper. I know the story is funny, but I also know a lot of people are scared right now. Because it is a scary time. There's disease going around that can be deadly, and there's a lot of misinformation and too much information coming out. It just seems like a deluge. We're dealing with closed schools. Our nursery school is closed for the next 2 weeks. We're facing quarantines and running out of things at the grocery store. It's strange. It's difficult. It's not something we're used to dealing with. And I don't want to minimize the danger that does exist, because the disease is real, and it's very dangerous to certain populations. We must take care as a community to care for those who are the most vulnerable around us. So how do we get through a time like this? And that's where I turn to today's gospel a bit. Today's gospel is a really famous one. A lot of people know the story of the woman at the well, and there's been lots of sermons on it. Jesus is sitting at the well. He's tired. It's the afternoon. The disciples have run off to go food shopping. And he's just waiting. And this woman comes to the well at noon, and there's lots of stories as to why she's there at noon, but I don't think that's really important right now. What's important is that she does come to the well to draw water, and Jesus asks, "May I have a drink?" And she doesn't say no. And she goes to maybe help him. And in that act of kindness, a discussion opens up. We have to remember that in this time, Jesus, a Jew, would never be seen speaking to a Samaritan woman. They did not get along. They did not share things in common, as it says in our gospel. Samaritans were often seen as less than Jewish people. Jesus was lowering his status by even talking to this Samaritan, and on top of that, a Samaritan woman. She is a minority. She is a person on the fringes. She is a person who has been beaten down in the world. We hear that from her story in 5 husbands, and we don't know why she had 5 husbands. We don't know if she was widowed. We don't know the circumstance. But in the act of kindness that she shows to Jesus, and that Jesus continues to speak with her, she makes a calculation. Do I share my story with this man? Can he be trusted to hear what I'm going to say, or is he going to weaponize that against me? Because that's what happens with people on the margins. That's what happens when you're a minority, and you walk into a space where you're still a minority, and they ask about your life, and you say, you do that calculation. I've done that calculation as a gay man. Can they hear this story, and will they use it against me? Will they hurt me with this? Or can they hold my story and welcome me? And out of that act of kindness, out of Jesus, she opens up to Jesus. And through that opening up, through that kindness that started all, through that conversation, Christ reveals himself as Messiah to her. And she becomes a disciple, and she goes out into the world proclaiming the good news. All because of that kindness. All because of that trust that they built with each other. They could be honest with each other. They could tell their stories in an open and honest way and be there for each other in that moment. We get to the point we get to because of the kindness shared between them. There was a joke in there if you didn't catch it. When he says, "I will give you living water," and she says, "Sir, you don't even have a bucket." That's funny. Do you know what I mean? This was not a tense conversation. It was relaxed. It was relational. We have to model that kindness now. Our lives are going to have to adjust with what's going on in the world. And that's going to cause stress, and that's going to cause struggle, and that's going to cause pain. We're going to have to do things we're not used to doing. We're going to have to be in places we're not used to being. We're going to have to face situations that we're not used to facing. And when we face those kind of stresses, when we get put in those situations, it's very, very easy to start only thinking about ourselves. It's very, very easy to say the stress is too much and I only have to take care of me. It's very easy to say I'm going to take that last roll of toilet paper from the old lady. The fact that that thought even crossed my mind, that I seriously considered doing it, tells us where that stress can push us into acts of unkindness. Because I'm supposed to be one of the good guys. We need to be kind to one another. We need to be patient with one another in these times, and we need to remember that there are those among us who are incredibly vulnerable, who are the woman at the well, who need acts of kindness to help through this time. Because I can say, as I was running around the grocery stores and as I was looking for the things that we needed to get as a family, what I didn't see was people hoarding. What I didn't see was people yelling and getting angry. What I did see was lots of people thanking the cashiers and the shelf stockers who are putting up with half-hour-long waits as you check out, and people grabbing things up and stores that just look decimated. I saw people helping load things into their cars of saying, I don't need this case of water, you can have it. I saw acts of generosity happening in these moments, and that's the kind of kindness we have to remember, to not only help each other, but to keep social order and cohesion. The thank yous, the patience with one another, these are the things that help us get through these difficult times. The danger is real, and it is scary. And we shouldn't minimize it, and we shouldn't pretend like it doesn't exist or that it's a hoax or anything like that. This is a thing that we're going to have to take on, and it's going to alter our lives. But together we can weather this. And by together, I mean together in your own homes and things, not in a giant crowd. Together we can weather this. Together we can call each other, we can send letters, we can get on Facebook. We can support each other through this. By being kind to one another, by being patient with one another, we will see the other side of